Hey everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. We'll be going to a very prominent reefer in the industry to interview him for our latest video, TropicMarin Reefers. His YouTube name is TankTalks and his name is Ian. He'll be very happy speaking to you about his tank and his updates. Hello everybody, so we are now at Ian's house. He's a very special guest and our beloved customer very long, and he is willing to show you his tank and what he uses for his tank. This is his 6-feet marine tank with a bunch of angels and some really nice archery tank over there and really well kept fishes. So he's running through a full SPS system. Then we'll be running through with you today his equipment, what he used, and some tips and tricks on how he can manage his tank well. So I'll be passing on the mic to Ian. Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Ian. Some of you may know me from the Tank Talks YouTube channel. It's been defunct for a while, but here I am today. Brandon and the guys at Aquamarine want to come down to take a look at the tank. It's not in the best shape, but you know, it's stable for the most part, especially for the fishes. Corals, not so much. Okay, so the livestock has been unchanged for maybe at least 3, 4, 5 months now. Moish idle, grown a bit in size already. Think everything you can think of. Quite the bully. Took a while to get used to things in terms of like the egg and stuff, so I had it in a quarantine tank for a while, but after that was fine. We have a blonde naso, yellow-bellied regal as well, convict tank, 2 long-nosed butterfly pair that was actually from a reefer that was decomming, and he was like keen to see them be home together, so here they are. I have a couple of wrasses. I have a rose band fairy wrasse, magma wrasse, a lunatus wrasse, and that's the fairy wrasses, and then there's a Madagascar flasher somewhere, and then there's a Chalty leopard wrasse, a couple of other ditter fish, like a couple of chromises, the scissors tail gobies, oh, and 2 joculator angelfish, also from another reefer who decommed. Little blue tank, cute blue tank over there for the kids to see when they come over, and a Apasiating foulfish, a mandarin. I think that's it pretty much. For the corals, I tried to go for a deep sea coral kind of thing going on. So I had a lot of these like granulosas, loripes, speciosas and stuff like that, which was fine until you decide to take a holiday, and I think this happens to most people. Equipment likes to malfunction when you're overseas. The temperature probe has started to drift right before I left, and the temperature plummeted to about 20 degrees Celsius. And it was a bit hard to come back from that for a lot of the things. Then after that, the elk, the dose was not working as well. It was a troubling time, so the elks was swimming quite a bit. I'm surprised that there was as many that survived as they did, but still it was quite a bummer to have a lot of nice pieces that were gone. But I'm not gonna do anything now, trying to get everything back to make sure it's stable before we go again. But that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else but SPS. Maybe it's like one random mushroom colony that I can't get off the rock. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, for the equipment, we can go from top to bottom. For my lights, I have, 4 Radeon XR30 whites and 2 XR15 blues. I think they're all 6s or 5s, I think, mixed together. As well as 2 AI blade glows, the 39-inch glows. I don't actually keep the intensity very high. It's only probably about 50%, but it was more for the angles and the more blanketing of the light across the tank, because I don't think they needed as much intense lighting, but there's always room to go up more if I wanted to. And then I have a whole bunch of like dosing pumps going on. So I have 2 dosing pumps on the side that connect straight to the laundry area that does an auto water change. So there's a blue tub down there that I will mix once a week, like 250 liters of water. They'll bring it in, and then one Versa will bring it back out. You have to calibrate the Versa heads every month or so because they tend to drift. But other than that, that's the things on top. Oh wait, there's a UV. There are 2 80-watt Delta UVs behind. Fed through a pump in the sump. Gotta change the bowl every 9, 10, 11 months, and then wipe down the quad sleeve also. Make sure it's effective. And I have a Bubble King skimmer, the 250 external. Oh, I have a smaller octo skimmer for which is ozone proof. So I have for the ozone as well. So the ozone runs through that skimmer specifically. That specific model is not rated for ozone. And I have a bunch of Apex stuff. I have the Apex alkalinity, calcium, magnesium one, and the nitrate and phosphate one. I have 2 Apex dosers that dose the individual parts of Tropic Marin, the Tropic Marin ABC, because at a certain point the corals were taking more elk than anything else, so AFR wasn't cutting it. And a couple more Versa heads for trace elements like A-, K+. Bacto balance, I was dosing via the head, but I eventually had to dose by hand because the amount was so small that it was better to do it by hand. I think that's it in terms of equipment. Oh, with bakers, we have 2 gyres, one here, one on the overflow, 2 more MP60s, one here, one on the other end on alternating lanes. Trying to do a SPS tank and solving the flow issue on a Peninsula tank is a bit of an issue. You can see some dead spots here and there, so it's a bit I would not recommend it. Yeah, and that's pretty much what keeps the tank alive. I just feed the fish a lot, care about the fish more than the corals per se, but I would be happier if the corals were doing better, but you know, is what it is. So for the chiller, actually we're using compressors for both the tanks in the house. So the compressor is actually on the ledge outside, and we trunked it over here, and the compressor coil is sitting inside. So it's soundless, there's no extra heat. It's great compared to when I first started the hobby and had a lot of tanks everywhere and it was just humming like a hanger. So that was terrible. But yeah, so the compressors are a great way to go if you can kind of maneuver it. Okay, now moving on to Tropic Marine products. What I mainly use the most is the salt really. So I use the Tropic Marin Pro Reef salt. Use about a bucket a month because of the auto water change schedule that I have. It's about 3+ % a day. So I use about 1 bucket every month. That's about 3 to 4 changes depending on how diligent I am. So I fill it up in a bucket with Rodi, and then I just put the salt in, and then I just let the Versa run it. That's the thing I use the most of. I also use A+, K- for all the tracers. I don't really bother with all the moonshiners, the specific methods. I'm not quite there yet. But so far so good. I think it's kind of a catch-all, so that's why I went with that. I also use the components A, B, and C. I have always used AFR for all my other tanks prior to this, but at a certain point there was so many SPS that it was just draining out way faster than anything else. So I had to go with the ABC thing. I think A is for calcium, B is for magnesium, B is for alkalinity, and C is for magnesium. So that's why I've been using it on 3 separate pumps on the apex dose, elk especially being on the assisted dosing mechanism where the Trident will test. They say if it's X amount, it will continue to dose a little bit more, a little bit less for you. So that's how I use it. I use a lot of the little fish food stuff as well, like omega vital supplements, the zooplankton and phytoplankton little powders. So once in a while I'll mix it and throw it in and get rid of the reef snow. Everything seems to enjoy it. I use the dip. I use the dip. So I use Coral Clean as well when I get new corals. I have a few dips. I think according to some reefers, some dips are a little stronger than others. I don't really want to, especially the deep sea SPS. Some of them do not handle dips very well. So we use a heavy diluted version of it, and it generally helps, right? I use Tropic Marin pretty much daily. I use other brands as well, right? It's not just a pure thing. But the salt is definitely the go-to. I think that's probably the best product in my opinion. But yeah, that's the tank. Okay, so apparently Brandon has some questions for me, Q&A time, so here we go.
How long have you been reefing? What made you start? I think a lot of people want to know this answer for...
Actually, the first shot I went to was probably AM. I've been doing this since... Well, I started in when I was very young, I had a small tank, and that was let's not consider that. But when I started again, as a total fresh-eyed person, it was 2015, I think. After uni, I got back to Singapore. But I didn't really have a place, so after a few tanks, I kind of tore it down. Then I only started getting into back properly during COVID. I think it was 2020 or 2021. So yeah, it's been a while. Actually, I didn't realize that. So yeah, so that's kind of when I started having my 7-foot tank. That was the first big exciting one that I had. I kept a lot of nice, cool tanks there. I was mostly a soft coral tank. And then my partner moved in with me, and she's like, too many tanks in the house. Okay, time to chop a few down. So in the end, we ended up with 2 new tanks. That's how it's going to be for a while. I have a 6-foot water box and a 4-foot Nios. That's what I have right now. One is SPS, one is LPS. But yeah, so about 2020, 2021 till now.
So what advice would you give to someone starting out their reefing journey?
Where to start? There's too much information online, and as a new person, it's very difficult for you to figure out what is actual advice and what is anecdotal advice. Just find someone you respect online, like reef dudes or whoever it is, right? Like a specific person, and just follow that one person's success. Because if you start taking advice from everyone, you are going to end up with a tank that has some things that are redundant and some things that are not there just from too much advice, right? Just follow one person's advice. You say, oh, this guy's tank is cool, he's a lot of success with the stuff I want to keep, I'm just going to follow what he...
Yeah, you have many fishes. Which fish is the most difficult to keep in your experience?
In my tank, I think the ones that I won't say difficult, tricky is probably the word I use. It's probably the Moorish idol or the AT. I think the AT itself is, everyone loves the AT. I think a lot of people, especially in Singapore, like it a lot. It's not very long-lived for the most part. I've only had mine for about maybe 4 months, but usually in the first couple of 1 or 2 weeks, it will start crashing in people's tanks because of egg. Usually because of egg, right? But it's a very high-strung fish. It just needs a lot of space, a lot of food, proper stocking order, and probably UV and some egg control. I think a lot of US and European people like doing this full quarantine method thing, which I was on board for a while. I still think it's important, but I think it's very unrealistic for a new hobbyist or whatever to do a 100% clean thing, in my opinion. The other one is probably the Moorish. The Moorish is basically not that difficult to get eating, but it will take a while. For example, this one was not eating anything when it arrived. It had to start taking a bit of clams on the half shell, then it progressed to nori, then it started taking mysis, and eventually started eating pellets. I work from home, so I feed my tank 5, 6, 7 times a day. I give it nori twice a day whenever the sheet is gone. And it's very fat and happy. Initially, egg was quite bad on it, but I have a quarantine system where I have egg in it. I just have 1 fish in a time and there, let them ride it through. After the 4th or 5th cycle, you don't see the egg anymore. and they're eating the food that I want to feed it, then I put it to the tank, and usually it's never been a problem. I've not lost a fish.
So what's your dream fish?
I saw a crosshatch trigger in one of the shops lately, and I was like, I've been thinking about it a long time. It was a Hawaiian endemic, but that one is a bit too pricey right now. I think I have all the fish I kind of want right now. Maybe, the one I really want is a Red Sea butterfly. It's the Eritrean butterfly. It's a bit like a pearl scale, but the back is not orange, it's red. I had one, I actually brought it back from Bangkok in my fowler before, but it got an infection and died. I haven't really been able to find it since, but I'm okay. I'm okay to add butterflies into this reef because you generally safe. They eat it, I don't really care.
That's all. Thank you so much.
Alright, bye-bye.
Okay, hold on. We are not done with the video yet. Ian has a very special present for all of you. So I'll let Ian talk more about it in the app that he developed. So Ian?
So I made an app, it's called ReefMine. You can find it at reefmine.io or on the Apple Store. Basically, I made it because I was bored and I was fiddling around with Claude quite a bit. I personally use ChatGPT and other LLMs a lot for my tank. Like if there's a problem, hey, I need to know this part for flow rate, what do I do, here's my volume, and it kind of gives you pretty good answers most of the time. But the thing I found irritating was that it will begin to forget things about your tank and it was not specific to my problems. So I started off with creating a chatbot where I was like, okay, I can fill in what's in my tank, for example, all the fish in my tank, all the corals in my tank, my parameters, my dimension of tank, water volume, equipment. So whenever I asked it a question, it would refer to that list and the history of what we talked about to give me a reply that's specific to my issue. So it started out as an AI chatbot app for reef keeping. I slowly expanded it to things like being able to browse certain fish that you could add to your tank, or you could ask the bot, hey, is this a good fish to add to my tank? Because maybe I'm still new, I don't know if these fish get along, or whether they eat coral and stuff like this. There are full care sheets of like about 490 so species. There's a core invert list that's not as extensive, but it's there as well. I think what's also cool is there's a new tank startup wizard thing that if you're new, you can say, oh, I want a 5-foot tank mixed reef, and it'll walk you through the steps of what you need to get there, what equipment you might need. It can help recommend you some equipment and stay within your budget. That's what you're looking for. Oh, it's a photo ID as well. It works as well as most photo IDs. So I took a picture of my moorage, came out as bannerfish. To be fair, they are quite similar. But for the most part, it does work, right? And there's always feedback buttons that you can tell and say, hey, this is not working, blah, 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 and I'll be there to fix it. So yeah, the app is free to use and download up to a point that you can have about 10 or so chats a day until it refreshes at midnight. So if that's within your usage, great. Use it for free, that's fine. Browsing, everything else is free. But for those who want to use the AI a bit more for the chatbot component, there are different tiers to it. You can check it out at the App Store. But yeah, it's free to download and try and use, so try it out. Let me know what you think. Feedback is kind of still like a beta thing right now. Yeah, I hope you find it useful. Yeah, give me any feedback. Thanks. Okay, we are now going to try the camera function and see how smart the photo thing is. It's not the smartest thing, but we'll see if it works. Okay, we have a Regal here. Let's see what it tells us. Oh, Regal Angel, right? So you can see the stats here, the quick facts. You can even view the full care sheet that we've written. This is co-written by me and the LLM. I have wrote some stuff that my own philosophies, and it's also embedded into all these care sheets. And you can even have a button at the bottom, and you can say, how does it fit my tank? So for example, in another panel here, I've added certain fish into quote-unquote my tank. So it will kind of look at that list and say, oh, you already have a Regal in your tank. This is probably not a good idea, right? So if you're browsing at a fish shore, you see some fish you've never seen before, or you want to know if it'll fit your tank, that's a pretty easy feature you can use on the go. So yeah. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is there is a SOS button that you can click. So if we click it, it will show you like what you see on your fish. For example, my fish is sick, I need help, right? So my fish has white spots, maybe it's breathing rapidly and it's not eating. And it will give you a small questionnaire. Okay, which fish in your tank is affected? I would say, okay, maybe it's my Achilles tank. How long has this been going on? I just noticed it. Is this fish eating less than usual? Do you have a quarantine tank? No. Do you have a UV sterilizer? Yes. Okay, so we'll get a diagnosis and it will say, okay, this is likely marine ick, right? It'll give you a bunch of things here. There's a treatment plan. Here are some common causes, right? But it's more generic advice, like a quick understanding of what you need to do. But there's a button for you to get help with the AI. So you can tap that button and it will chat with the bot and say, hey, this is my triage request. Can you give me a more in-depth thing of what I can do or what's going on? So there we go. So it gives you this thing, say based on your triage, this looks like ick for your AT, and it'll give you, we do have a nuance guide on ick specifically, but other symptoms, other illnesses, there's other things. So you can say your Achilles is particularly ick susceptible. Good news is you have a UV already running. So this is specific to your problem and your system. So it won't tell you blanket, oh, remove all the fish, blah, blah, blah. Which most advice do that. So this is specific to your tank and your situation. I don't have a quarantine tank, but I have a sterilizer. Okay, maybe that's what it is. We stay the course, right? Yes, always you can get a better answer. If you find that unsatisfactory, you can click it. The bot will think a little harder. Or no, you can keep continuing and say, oh, well, but what can I do? Am I worried about my other fish? And you can just chat with it like a normal LM and then see how it goes. So yeah. So for me, I use this a lot when I was using all the LLMs earlier in the year. But yeah, this is specific to my problems now, and I can make sure that it understands my situation.
Thank you for watching the video. Do check out Ian's app. It's in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys!